Welcome, everybody. If you could put your earphones on, if you haven't already. How's everybody doing? Good. How's the energy? Low, high, in the middle? Yeah, okay, good. Feels like you've got a good audience for this. It's my pleasure to be your maître d'ambiance for this really special session that we have in collaboration with the European Investment Bank Institute, Impactful Solutions. You're going to see 7 solutions here and a real kaleidoscope of different ones. Everything from circular economy to biodiversity, really cool initiatives. You're going to love them. Each of them is going to have 4 minutes to present their solutions. And after all of them have, we're going to have some questions and answers from the jury members. Before we do that, I'd love to give the floor to Louisa, who's going to give us a bit of context to this session. And Louisa, who's responsible for the social activities of the EIB Institute. Welcome, Louisa.
And good afternoon, everyone. And as Nick said, I'm a head of social at the EIB Institute, which is the philanthropic arm of the EIB, the long-term financial institution of the EU, or the Climate Bank. What Nick did not tell you about, and this is because he does not know, is that since I was a little girl, I was always in love with magic and superheroes. And one of my favorites was Superman, and I always felt mesmerized by his ability to fly and transform the world around him. I never stopped believing in superheroes, and today we have with us 8 impactful solutions. What they have in common with the superheroes is that they also want to change the world. They don't have wings to fly, they don't have special strengths, they have no speed, but they are here to transform the world. And we thought about creating a community for all these superheroes, and that community is a local where we can have all of them together and see if one superhero plus one superhero is more than 2. And we call this community the SIT Alumni Network. We have about 200 impact ventures in that community, of which you'll be listening to 7, not 8, because one for health reasons is not going to be able to pitch. And this is what I would like to give you in a couple of minutes, is the context, how do you become a member of the SIT Alumni? And since 2012, we've been running this competition, the Social Innovation Tournament, and we start every year with a European-wide call for proposals. We select 15. Those 15 go through a very comprehensive training program that prepares to pitch in front of a jury that is composed of impact investors, philanthropists, academics, policymakers. And they always run for more than 200,000 euros in prizes. But after this, and this is what we say is the most important thing, is that they become part of our alumni network, and they are stuck for life with us. And they can access mentoring and capacity building programs where they have activities on fundraising, on impact measurement and management, scaling, you name it. They also can access financial and human resources. For example, we have a platform of EIB group experts that they can apply and get advice from them and mentoring. And they also get visibility and networking. And this is one of the examples of what we consider we're giving them support for visibility and recognition and networking. So these are the SIT alumni. On our everyday today work, we call them SIT alumni. I prefer to call them superheroes in disguise. I forgot to change that one. I just wanted to say before I let the superheroes speak that we just selected the 2022 cohort, and if you want, you can go to our website and find what the 15 solutions are about. But you can also join us to learn more about these solutions in September. On the 29th, either on site in Vienna or it will be live streamed. And without further ado, I just tell you, enjoy and relax.
Awesome. Thank you, Louisa.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We'd also love to hear who are our superhero jury members for today. If you could just share in one sentence, who are you and what are you doing? And then pass it along the line, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Melissa Kozak, and I'm working for European Investment Fund in the Equity Investments team, where I am responsible for selecting and investing in early stage funds, and particularly impact funds across the EU. I'm also a long-standing member of the review committee of the Social Innovation Tournament, so I'm happy to see some of these companies again.
Awesome. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Jean-Guillaume. I'm one of the partners at Norslab. We're a Nordic impact-driven early stage investor, and we look to back meaningful companies within the fields of sustainable food systems, circular economy and energy transition. Very glad to be here. Looking forward to the pitches. Good luck everyone.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Glowee. I'm co-heading the Raid Impact Fund, which is a European impact fund targeting the environmental and social transition, including the circular economy.
Cool. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Laurent Babu, partner at Ring Capital, VC impact firm investing from C to Series B in companies using technology to solve environmental and social issues.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. So I think we're then ready to start seeing the solutions. So the first one, producing circular fabrics from citrus juice. Let's everyone give a big, warm, energetic welcome for Orange Fiber. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, actually. And I'm here to present you Orange Fiber. We are the first company creating creating textiles from citrus. And we take the leftovers from citrus juice production. Every time an orange is squeezed for juice, half of its weight is left behind and has to be treated as a byproduct. And we calculated that just in Italy, this amount of waste is 700,000 tons every year. And if we expand our view worldwide, that's incredible. And what we have developed is a process that is patented, that we work with the squeezer. We get to a cellulose extraction in Sicily, and this cellulose is up to be spun and transformed. We partnered in July 2021 with Lenzing. It's a big Austrian group specializing in wood pulp and fiber for fashion from certified wood. So we make a fiber with them. It's a Tencel limited edition containing our cellulose from citrus. And then we went down the supply chain to spin it into yarn and then weaving into fabric. So our business model is comprised. So we basically sell fabrics fully made in Europe, but we can also sell fiber or yarns depending on how integrated is the brand or the group we are talking to. The way we do so is through our ingredient branding strategy, meaning the brands that are using our fabrics will also use our trademark. And if you go down the circular innovation exhibition, you will see 3 garments made from Ferragamo, Marinella, and H&M using our fabrics and having our logo on it. And our process has been patented in the European Union, of course, but also Mexico, United States, Brazil, and India, with the idea of replicating the process where there's a waste that can be used from citrus, of course. So this is one of the examples. This year we partnered with Marinella. It's a quite famous tie maker in Italy, and they decided to innovate their products using our signature fabrics for their collection, and that's how our ingredient branding looks like when it's on the final garment. And we started the company back in 2014 in Italy. We are again based in Sicily. And back in the day, we filed for patent and presented the first prototype at the time of Expo 2015. And in 2017, we did the first fundraising and the first production round, launched the partnership with Ferragamo. But then we went back to R&D and decided to reinvest on improving the process in a way that could be scaled. And this led us to our equity crowdfunding in 2019 and investment in a new production plant that unfortunately was delayed because of COVID. We finished in 2020. And finally, in 2021, this enabled us to partner with Lansing. 2021 was an incredible year for us because we were also being part of the cohort for the Social Innovation Tournament and winning the prize from them, but also from Yux and Vogue in Italy, which enabled us to kind of push forward a few more months to get finally here. We just signed a couple of contracts with clients that will be announced in the next month. So we are finally back in the market again. And basically that's it. I hope you enjoyed, and I'm be there for question later on. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Orange Fiber. And next up is a breakthrough technology offering plant-based alternatives for replacing plastics. Welcome, PlasticFri. Welcome.
So, hi everyone, my name is Alan and I'm here to present PlasticFri, a green tech company offering plant-based alternatives to replace plastics. So everything started when I was a child. Anytime we were in the nature, our parents made up to pick up trash before we started playing. This has become a hobby as we grow older and to spend some time to clean the environment. But then, how long can we continue doing that? How long can we go around just pick up trash? Can we just pick up all the 8 million tons of plastic that enters the oceans every single year? Definitely not. So we started PlasticFri with the ambition to find a sustainable solution to end plastic pollution. Our company is based in Sweden and our technology is already commercialized. PlasticFri has been awarded as the world's most innovative sustainability startup among more than 1,400 companies worldwide. So basically we use renewable plant resources, mainly coming from agricultural waste, non-edible plants and wood fibers. Then through a unique process, we turn them to plastic-free products. These products are designed for circularity. PlasticFri has been already certified by the toughest certification standards, both in Europe and globally. For its scientific novelty, our patent got a gold medal at the World's Invention Fair. Here you can see some examples from our product portfolio that have the highest impact on a daily basis, including plastic-free cups, straws, mailers, and different types of bags. This is just an example of our mailers. Actually, this is paper, but it's a waterproof paper. So I have some examples, you can test it later. This is one of the latest lab results from the third-party labs, which shows one of our thickest bags actually can disintegrate within only 4 weeks' time. Of course, there are other solutions already in the market, but no one could solve sustainability at a reasonable cost. With PlasticFri, we have succeeded to bridge this gap by maximizing the bio-based content and reducing the cost. So basically, PlasticFri has 4 unique advantages over all other solutions in the market. First of all, it's highly scalable, which means that we can use the existing machineries. We don't need to invent new machines. From the sustainable perspective, we use waste as a resource. Then also, our technologies are already verified and certified by the third-party certifications. And most importantly, in the large volumes, we are competitive pricing with existing solutions. We are humbled that public organizations such as European Investment Bank have shared our vision and supported PlasticFri along the way. Because of its innovativeness and great impact, our work has been awarded several times, such as receiving Alfred Nobel Innovation Diploma and winning the Social Innovation Tournament. So far, we've succeeded to achieve these incredible milestones in 3 areas. On the commercial side, we've launched recently and have already sold more than 10 million products. On the technical side, we have 14 certifications granted and several products already in the market. And most importantly, we are creating meaningful environmental impact, such as saving tons of CO2. All of the plastic that has ever been made still exists today. This is a crisis. This is an emergency. So we need to act today, and we cannot wait tomorrow. Our dream is to end plastic. If we continue to use the plastic the way we do today, there will be more plastic than fish in our oceans in less than 30 years. We invite you to join us in this movement to stop this. We're actually now looking for partners to scale and investors for our next funding round. If that's interesting, come talk to me. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Okay, so next up, the final one in this round. Sorry, we have 2 more in this round. This one is using nature's principles to design better ingredients. This is Cellugy. Welcome to the stage. Enjoy. Your time to shine.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Debbie, one of the co-founder of Cellugy. So Cellugy is a biotechnology company based in Denmark, working on the fermentation and cellulose production. Climate crisis, toxic environment, we all know that, and we need to change the way that we are producing and we are consuming things right now. So that's why we are here now in Change Now. Why don't we step back and look at the garden? Because nature is our world's best engineers. In Cellugy, we are looking into the most abundant and versatile polymer of nature, which is cellulose. In plants, bacteria, fungus, cellulose has been used for a strength-bearing structure, to humidity regulator, or even sunscreen. So in Cellugy, we are getting inspired, and then we are working towards how we produce cellulose better. So in Cellugy, we are focusing with a fermented cellulose, which is produced from fermentation. We are now in the journey to uncover the untapped potential of the fermented cellulose. Our production process is a straightforward, energy efficient, and sustainable. Some of you have been reading about the cellulose, carboxymethyl cellulose, or other type of cellulose, but most of the cellulose, they are extracted from plants. And the potential and the use of it really depending on what kind of plants it's extracted from. Could be like a cellulose from Japan and Europe is different, so they have a limited possibilities. In Cellugy, we are producing cellulose from bacteria, probiotic bacteria actually, and we are producing it in the standard bioreactor anytime, anywhere. And the process is very tunable that we can produce other type of applications and many more. The potential of the fermented cellulose is very wide. We have looking into food, textiles, packaging, but change doesn't happen in the heartbeat. We need to focus, and we need to name our first baby. So we are focusing right now. EcoFlexi is our name product of this fermented cellulose as a multifunctional ingredient for personal care application. And it combines the excellent performance of the synthetic and the sustainable profile of the nature. We are now in the pre-pilot scale. And we have 3 pilot projects with the companies, including Fortune 500. We are going to launch EcoFlexi for personal care application next year. And that's why we are focusing right now for the customer validation on site and also producing volume for those pilot projects. So our effort has been recognized by 19 different institutions, including European Institute and also National Geographic in 2019, Hello Tomorrow, and many others. Right now we are raising our seed round funding, and yes, I hope that you can join us in our exciting journey preventing harmful chemicals to go for human and environment. Thank you.
Thank you, Cellugy. Okay, so last one in this round, all about turning waste wood into renewable chemicals. This is Lixea. Welcome, Lixea.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Oh, it went too far. Sorry. So, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Florence, and I'm the CTO and co-founder at Lixea, and we're here to enable the circular bioeconomy. The challenges we're addressing are twofold. On the one hand side, we have bio-derived products that are currently produced but are really struggling to win over markets from the petroleum-based industry. One part of the problem is the typically relatively high feedstock cost. Another problem is that the petroleum industry is extremely optimized, while the bio-derived industry is still in its early stages, often only producing one main product and not fully valorizing all of the components of the raw material. On top of that, most bio-derived products today are made from food-grade sources, which limits their sustainability advantages over the petrochemical products. Now, on the other hand side, we have about 1.1 billion tons of waste wood and agricultural residues that are available across the globe every year and are not used. They're usually either burned or landfilled, which also causes local harm, for example, through crop burning, which causes air pollution and respiratory problems. So to address these problems, my co-founders and I have developed the dendronic process originally at Imperial College in London. It uses a new type of environmentally friendly solvent called an ionic liquid, which allows us to separate the main components that are found in wood and agricultural residues. These components are called lignin, hemicellulose, and cellulose. Once they're separated from each other, they can then be turned into a variety of final products. For example, packaging products from the cellulose, resins and adhesives and coatings from the lignin, and various chemicals that can be derived from the hemicelluloses that we also separate. What makes us really unique is the fact that we can work with a large number of different input materials, and that includes waste wood that comes out of the construction and demolition industry. The construction industry typically uses heavy metal preservatives in the wood to make it last longer, but at the end of the life that is a problem, and our process is able to extract and recover the heavy metals that are typically used in those preservatives. This gives us access to some very low-cost feedstocks, and as a result allows us to produce the bio-derived products more sustainably and more cost-effectively while generating revenues from these unwanted waste streams. Most of our competition is focusing on the conversion of agricultural residues into bioethanol and are really struggling to make an economic case out of this. Compared to them, the dendronic process is highly effective on a much larger range of input materials, especially very low-cost inputs such as the waste wood. Also, instead of only producing one marketable product, we have two high-quality products, the cellulose and the lignin, and can also valorize our byproducts. As a combination of these, we're able to offer very attractive process economics. We were originally founded back in 2017 as a startup on a spin-out company from Imperial College. We've already patented the core part of our technology and have been able to develop our technology and run some initial scale-up tests. Now we've had a grant from the European Innovation Council, which has allowed us to further grow our team and build our very own pilot plant, which is currently being commissioned in Sweden. With the grant now coming to a close, we're looking to raise 5 million euros, which will allow us to get another 2 years of runway that allows us to really focus on the commercial development. So with the pilot plant operating, we will be able to focus on developing commercial products from the cellulose and the lignin. And with this, we're looking to work towards offtake agreements for our next stage, which will be a demonstration plant. With a demonstrator, we're then looking to scale through licensing agreements, which will give us a low capital approach to deploy our technology faster across the globe. So, yeah, I hope I piqued your interest, and I'm looking forward to talking with you more about this later. Thank you.
Thank you. You can stay here.
I can stay here.
Awesome platform. I'm also going to invite the other 3 solutions back to the stage. and jury members, you will have one microphone. I'll ask you for super short, sharp questions and answers, please, and one to each venture, and then you'll have the chance to continue the conversations in the networking.
I have a question for Orange Fiber, and that is the USP and business model based on the end product, because it is a unique end product that is potentially superior quality material because of the orange byproduct, or is it the process because it is sourced? And the reason I ask that question is because I wonder if you could use other fruit or vegetable byproducts, for instance, avocado byproduct, to also produce sustainably produce a material.
Thank you for the question. So basically, our business model is based on selling the unique product, whether in the form of fiber, yarn, or fabrics, because of its unique technology behind. So it's a mix of the two, and no one can exist without the other one. Whereas we tried some other matrix when it comes to use byproducts to create cellulose that can be used as well for textile, but we are still in an R&D stage for that, because every time we attack a matrix or a material, there is cellulose, but there are other things that are not cellulose. So separate them and get to a cellulose that has a certain quality to be accepted for the fiber makers is not always the same. So we, of course, gained a lot of knowledge in this, and we, of course, have partners that can then help us to try in the field that cellulose. So we have an advantage, but it's not a technology that can work with everything without any adjustment. So we need to rework on that every time. So now we are focusing on really improving this one from all the citrus family. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question.
So I have one for PlasticFri. You mentioned your model was highly scalable due to existing machinery. Do you look at owning your own production or actually selling your technology to other partners in different markets?
Very good question, thanks a lot. So this was actually, we decided at this point to have the manufacturing partners, but in the long term we will own the manufacturing, and of course since we can use the existing manufacturing facilities we have, because if we want to have a sustainable, supply chain, we will have a decentralized supply in different parts of the world as well. But as of now we have manufacturing partners that we can produce, that's why we could actually launch without having a large capex. So that's why we could launch all the products in the market.
Great, and quick follow-up. Are your customers like packaging suppliers or would be the end brand users?
We have B2B business model, so as of now, and we are industry agnostic, so we can sell to different types of industries. As of now, we work with the wholesalers, retailers, and brand owners that we work. So as an example, we work with MIWA, which is one of the largest suppliers to the food chain in Nordics, actually. Yeah.
Great, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you. So question to Lixea. I was just wondering if the process of separating the components from the biomass is very technical and complex and capital intensive, and what are the main hurdles to you to further scale up today?
Yes, so it is a physical plant, which of course is capital intensive. At the moment, we've just built our pilot plant. The equipment is not new, so we use existing technologies, existing filter technologies, existing pump technologies, etc. One of our main challenges is the things that are specific to the use of the ionic liquid, which are material compatibility, so figuring out which metals to use and which ones not to use, so corrosion around that. But it's a non-volatile solvent, it doesn't evaporate, it's not flammable, so overall the entire handling of the process is much easier than comparable processes. So if you work across the street from us is a paper mill, and they handle sulfites, which is toxic, can release toxic gases, so they have much higher costs in terms of just like making sure that they don't release toxic gases and things like that. So in that sense, our capital cost is somewhat simpler and reduced because we don't have to manage a very toxic chemical process.
last question for Cellugy, please.
Yes, a question for Cellugy. Can you please specify the performance of your materials compared to more traditional processes and the key challenges you might face in the next few years?
Yeah. So basically, we're producing cellulose with the fermentation. So I can I can answer the second question first. The fermentation's problem is the productivity of the material production. So what we are trying so far is basically train our bacteria to produce more than they should. And we keep it at the trade secret. So we are scaling up right now, and we're trying to really reduce the COGS of the production. What we are different than the common production of the cellulose, other cellulose, for example, like a carboxymethyl cellulose that we are that has been used, for example, in the personal care, because we are tackling the first one is for the personal care, is that they need to extract it from different sources, and they're basically semi-synthetic. So they need to do the whole chemical modifications to be able to get the polymer. And what we try to do is we are using the cellulose with no chemical modifications, and we have better performance, for example, in stability, compatibility. Then we are open up different formulation capability for the companies or the brand's owner.
Awesome. Thank you so
Thanks a lot.
much. That concludes the
Thank you.
round. Thank you, everybody. We're going to see now 3 more solutions as part of this, and we're having a super diverse global portfolio of solutions here. The next one, a circular solution for the whole supply chain based on reusable packaging. This is MIWA Technologies. Welcome, and if everyone could give a warm welcome. Can we have a microphone, please? Thank you. There you go. And the clicker.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Okay, so I will not handle.
Need one extra hand.
I will not handle everything. Hello, my name is Ivana. I'm from MIWA. MIWA is a startup that was founded back in 2016 in Prague, in the Czech Republic. But nowadays we are mostly active in the Western Europe. So we do operate, and this is our reusable packaging, the capsule. I will show you then. We operate within the packaging industry, FMCG packaging, which is now undergoing and will be undergoing an accelerated transformation from the linear single-use packaging model towards more sustainable forms, out of which reusable packaging, by very conservative predictions, will take over 10 to 20% of the single-use packaging market. So now it's nowadays it's probably not that significant, and you cannot see it in real scales, but this is going to change, and there are various reasons for that. There is legislation, target sets, commitments made by producers and retailers, rising prices of the materials, strengthened EPR schemes. So what we have developed and what is actually already in operations with large retailers and also global brands is a system of reusable packaging, where in the very core is our hero. So it is this large 12-liter container, the capsule, which is durable, equipped with RFID chip, and is meant to withstand many cycles within the system. It works in tandem with the refill stations, which can be placed in the stores, but they can behave also autonomously. So we have already an installation, for instance, with Google in Zurich in their offices. So that's another use case, another application, how it can behave. All this is complemented with consumer reusable packaging, where this extension is open for exploration, both on our side, but also individually on the sides of the producers and brands. So as the MIWA packaging, the middle loop is being the capsules reused many times, the consumer cups reused many times, we need only 10% of the material for distribution of same amount of goods as within the single-use system. So this is very crucial. Another crucial point is that thanks to the traceability, we have the packaging under control. So we keep it in closed loop, and we work even with the material after the end of life of the packaging. And the traceability is also quite important for the products. Many opportunities when it comes to stock management, but for instance also for recalls of the products if they needed to be done. So what we had in mind when starting the task of developing or the concept of MIWA was we want to put into the very complex supply chain, FMCG supply chain, a solution, reusable packaging solution that would withstand the highest standards, the highest requirements, and those are the requirements of the large retailers and large brands. So hygienic point, also when it comes to the product quality, assurance of the product quality. So if you pack coffee beans, they will stay fresh, they will keep the aroma and everything. And that's possible with MIWA. Today we are in about 20 locations across Europe. Netherlands, for instance, with Albert Heijn. We are in Switzerland, in several stores of Nestlé. In Prague, in the Czech Republic, naturally. We will be soon opening in United Kingdom. It seems for Luisa it will be also Portugal, because there was a good news yesterday for us. And we are definitely targeting Germany and eventually France, because those are very important markets. I've mentioned just a couple of our customers. There are more of them. It's B2B producers and the retailers. And actually, we're taking the opportunity of also exhibiting. So there is a stand where you can come and see the module in life, not only the capsule. And we're taking the opportunity basically to launch our investment round with exhibiting here at Change Now, a round of 7 million euro, out of it which we have over 50% of soft commitments at this moment. A very good news is that we received EIC Accelerator, who will also through the fund invest into MIWA and provide grant financing of 2.5 million. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. Very cool product. Okay, so this is the last pitch of this session, which is all about monitoring pollution and biodiversity over... excuse me, sorry. Next up, we have working on modern air quality, okay, which with sensors, data, and analytics. This is Breeze Technologies. Then we have one more. Welcome to the stage. Enjoy.
Hello, everybody. My name is Robert Heinecke. I'm the founder and CEO of Breeze Technologies. We're a German technology leader for modern air quality sensors, data, and cleaner action intelligence. Back in 2014, I was living and working in Istanbul. And back then, I experienced heavy smog for the first time. At some parts of my stay there, I could barely see the other side of the street anymore. And digging deeper into the topic, what really shocked me was the state of air quality technologies. Basically, the technologies in air quality monitoring were stuck in the 60s and 70s. We had those big, bulky monitoring stations sitting on our roadside, costing the government hundreds of thousands of euros just for one single place. And it just didn't make sense. And if you don't know how the air quality is distributed throughout the city, how are you supposed to effectively manage it? So this is exactly the problem that we're tackling as Breeze Technologies. Here you see an example from Hamburg, the city where we are based. It's a city of nearly 2 million people, and they just know for 15 of those monitoring stations how the air quality actually looks like. So we changed that. We have developed our own lower cost air quality sensors that are 1,000 times cheaper and 50,000 times smaller than the current market standard. And with that, for the very first time, we can provide ubiquitous air quality data from the whole built environment. And what we have basically done is move all the complexity of the traditional air quality sensing from the hardware, from the individual piece of equipment into the software, where we do in the cloud the calibration, the analytics, and then the further data processing. We measure everything that the big monitoring stations are also measuring. You can see the parameters here on the slide. These are things like particulate matter, ozone, ammonia, and many more. And we stream this data in real time to a central cloud platform. And as I mentioned, with that, for the first time, we have holistic air quality information throughout the whole city. So obviously, we do that for cities, but our technology can be used in other use cases as well. We also work on indoor air quality in healthy offices and on industrial ambient emissions around industry sites. You can see we have already diversified a bit. And the great thing about this is that they're all interrelated to each other, right? If the air quality outside is not so great, I might not be interested in opening my window and letting in fresh air. And at the same time, if maybe one particular industry plant is the main polluter in a city, you really need to be careful and monitor those. So, our environmental intelligence cloud, the data where this all, the platform where all this data comes together is open. So we also work with other solution providers, smart city platforms, smart industry platforms, where our data streams can be integrated. And what we also do is we have a database of more than 3,500 solutions for cleaner air improvement. So we know how well they have performed in the past in different circumstances in improving air quality, and we use artificial intelligence to matchmake those cleaner actions with the local challenges that we identify to help our customers, as the very only provider that does that, to actually remedy the air pollution that they have. And this, of course, creates society impact. We create transparency about air quality. We enable change because for the very first time you also know what to do about the problems you have. And thereby we also facilitate momentum because we put together an ecosystem of different players that all want to work towards cleaner air in our cities. This is connected to 8 of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Here you see some of our partners and customers. We are very happy to work together with internationally renowned companies such as Microsoft, SAP, NTT, and many others that are using our solutions, for instance, in smart city projects. And you can see from our customers, we work, for instance, with large public institutions like the European Commission or cities like Siegburg in Germany, but then also with industry and other organizations such as NABU, an environmental NGO, for instance. We're currently a team of 18 people based in Hamburg, Germany. We already have customers in 11 countries so far, more than 13,000 locations where we stream air quality data from on our platform. And we've been endorsed for our work by numerous national and international governmental and non-governmental institutions. Here you can see a small map of where we actually have coverage also of air quality information. And the next thing that we believe is going to influence our market is also making that data available to others, to app developers, business owners, to actually enrich their own applications and business models with air quality data, to, for instance, make running routes environmentally sensitive and so on. So if that interests you, if you want to work with our data, if you want to start monitoring and managing air quality wherever you are, then please approach me afterwards. We also have a booth in this direction in the Smart Cities area. Thank you very much.
Awesome, thank you. Extremely impressive work. Okay, so now this is the last solution in the round. I'm super fascinated to see it. It's a tool that monitors pollution and biodiversity using bees. This is Beeodiversity. Welcome.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. First of all, I'm very happy to be here to share with you what I'm doing day after day, and I hope I will have the opportunity to involve you in my project. Biodiversity. Then I'm Kim Nguyen. I'm the CEO of Biodiversity, but I'm also a scientist. And biodiversity is a social enterprise. And our aim is really to regenerate the biodiversity, to reduce the pollution, and to create value for all the stakeholders. We are convinced that we can really improve the biodiversity and create value and economic value. How we are doing it? We are combining the genius of the nature, but also the technology. What we are doing concretely, we are developing strategy and projects for companies, but also for public institutions to restore the biodiversity and reduce the pollution, agricultural pollution, but also industrial pollution. Our aim is really to change. We are in change now. It's really to change the world, to improve our environment for the next generation, because actually and unfortunately, 92% of all the people around the world are living in polluted areas. We have pesticides in more than 45% of our food. And if we are not doing something now, we are estimating that in 2050, more than 50% of all the species around the world will have disappeared. Then we have to act and we have to change. But if you can measure it, you can improve it. And the problem actually is that no tools can concretely measure all of these indicators in same times. That's why we developed a nature-based solution called the biomonitoring. It's a nature-based solution, and it's a collaboration with the honeybees. In fact, we are collaborating with bees to collect the samples in the environment to do a monitoring of this environment. We are collaborating with bees, and they're like natural drones to collect the samples into the environment. In fact, in one honeybee colonies, you have 5,000 bees, and they will collect more than 4 billion of samples per year in large area. We can say 700 hectares. And they will come back in only one place, their hives. We develop a device to collect the samples on a daily basis. We are not collecting everything, only the pollen. Not all the pollen for sure, because we want to help the bees to survive. But we are collecting a significant quantity of pollen on a daily basis to analyze all of the samples into our labs. We are looking for what? Because the pesticide, the pollen can collect really the pollutant from the environment, but they contain also the DNA of each plant into the environment. Then we are looking for the pollutants. Then we are looking for more than 500 pesticides. We are looking for industrial pollutants, including heavy metals. But as we are analyzing also with genetic analysis the pollen of this plant, we can give you an indicator of the biodiversity into your environment. After that, we are comparing all our data with metrics. We can trace the origin of the pollutants, but we can also identify a lack of pollutant, a lack of biodiversity. Our aim for sure is to act with all the stakeholders at the end of all of our projects. Now we develop a dashboard for sure, because we are working with companies, we are working also with public institutions, and we need metrics. Amongst our clients, then I told you before, we are working with territories. That means public institutions, with municipalities. We want really to improve, to evaluate the quality of their environment, but also to improve the quality of their environment. In some of our projects, we quadruple the number of plant species into the environment with the results, but also we divide the number of pesticides by 5. We are working also with companies. With companies, we want really to integrate really the biodiversity into the process, but also into their organization. But we want also to improve the quality of their services or their product. We are working with that, with a lot of producers of water, with a lot of producers of food, for example, with the real estate, just as examples. What we can do for them? We can help them really to make environmental decisions and to include that into their process. We can help them to obtain permits also and labels, to federate the local community, because we are in a collaborative model and participative model in all our projects. We can also help them to measure their impact before, during, and after action they can do for the environment or during their activities. Now we have also KPIs. Actually, we are monitoring more than 100,000 hectares, and we are writing here the number of soccer fields, because all the people don't know what is an hectares. Then it is quite a lot of soccer fields. We are working not really here in 15 countries, because since the period when we produce the presentation, now we are in 17 countries. We generate a recurrent revenue of more than 1 million euro, and we have an amazing team, not of 16, but now it's 17 people in our team. And we have a lot of collaborators, because more than 70 collaborators, beekeepers all around the world now. Maybe I can say also we are the biggest employers, because if I count all the bees, I think we have a lot of workers with us. Just to finish, and just to say now, the next step is to work really to improve what we are doing with the artificial intelligence, as we are collaborating with Microsoft also to share all the data with all the stakeholders.
Thank you. Awesome. Stay there, please. And I love including bees as your employees. If we could invite the other 2 solutions too. And then if we have same flow as last time, short, sharp questions, 1 for each initiative, please.
Hello, 1 question for Breeze. Can you please be more specific on your competitive landscape, which seems quite intense, both with incumbents and startups?
Right. So, I mean, on the legacy side, we have companies like Horiba, MIWA, Dräger, and other, let's say, legacy solution providers that have the big bulky monitoring stations and similar equipment. So those typically range, and if you want to build the same measured parameters as our solution, you would pay €500,000 or more to purchase that. So there I mentioned we're 50,000 times smaller and 1,000 times cheaper. In the startup world, you have a lot of different approaches, like from Aclima in San Francisco. They put their sensors on cars and have them driving around. Not really feasible in Europe, because here the legislation says you need to monitor on the roadside and you need to have the monitors on a certain height and a certain distance from the street. And we have other companies like, I don't know, Airly from Poland, for instance. But to my knowledge, we're the only ones that are really going beyond diagnosing the problem, but actually offering solutions for the cities as well. And our city customers, like for instance the city of Neckarsulm in Germany, they are very happy that we built a whole cleaner action plan for them, which they're now implementing. And with the sensors deployed, we see again how effective these measures are. So our system is constantly learning from these implemented cleaner actions, and in the end, we aim to basically AI support every urban planner worldwide to produce clean air in our cities.
A quick question to MIWA. I was wondering what is the business model behind the company. Do you sell or rent the single-use packaging to clients through subscription? And do you have enough size? And finally, what are today your main hurdles to further scale up?
Okay, so for the business model, we have, putting it simply, two group of clients: the producers, to whom producers brands we provide the capsules, and we charge packaging as a service. So basically they get the capsules, they can distribute and sell their products with it. Then for the smart shelves, it will be usually after the retailer, and now there are two models depending still on the preferences of the retailer, buying or renting. Then it was the hurdles, and in between, sorry.
If you have different sizes
of the capsules?
Yeah.
At this moment is this size, but there is already, and this is part of the EIC accelerator, in the development, like to have it variable or modular. That's all I would say for that. At this moment, it seems it's working for most of the products, but maybe for the pet food, for instance, it might require a larger, larger amount. Hurdles.
Can I ask you to mention one key hurdle for this, please?
One key hurdle. I don't know. It's a very good energy this year compared to the last two. So we are really getting a new projects and installations. So I would say last year it's getting the new projects, but now it's happening. So I think the funding is quite important for us to go further and and to scale.
So yes, a question for Beeodiversity. Can you elaborate a bit more on how you move from the diagnosis part to the concrete actionable part? Is this more of an advisory service that you do? Because it seems that all the data points you combine right now, you don't have a machine learning system that comes with a solution. So is this more of offline team-generated output that you come up with, or?
Then we started just with our expertise at the beginning, like a consultant, and now we are developing also automatic tools to just identify. Imagine we have a pesticide, just a molecule, how to identify the pesticides, the crops, really the area where you are supposed to work. And for that, we automatize everything now. If it's the question, like this, we can reduce the number of persons who work in the field, but we can answer to the question of many clients.
Okay, great, thank you.
Awesome. Okay, I will wrap there, and then if you have any questions, if you would mind bringing them over to the networking room. Thank you so much. Brilliant solutions and some sharp questions as well. We hope you can deepen those connections here afterwards, and that brings us to a close. Thank you again to Louisa and the European Investment Bank Institute, and thanks to all the pitchers. Everyone, big round of applause, and stay where you are. We have another pitch session coming up very shortly. Thank you.